Hello, my friends. You read the title of this video correctly. I have righted a wrong that I have committed. I have finally played Assassin's Creed Black Flag after hearing from so many people that it's just the peak of Ubisoft. It's the peak of Assassin's Creed in general. And you know what? I was not convinced. I looked at it and I said, I don't think that looks any different than any other Assassin's Creed. It looks like Assassin's Creed 3, but with, probably a better character, although that's not a super high bar, but more ship combat and stuff like that. But I was very wrong. Very wrong. And happy to be proven wrong, too. It had me intrigued pretty much from the start, especially with Edward, which I had heard this was the case, is just not an assassin. This game is more about him coming into his own as one. So when discussing this, I am going to go through full spoilers of the game. So if you haven't played it, do as I do. Learn from me. Go play it. It's worth it, I promise. It even has a good DLC and comes with Assassin's Creed Liberation, which was on Vita. And that game gets a lot of hate, but I still like it, even though it's kind of a little bastard child of Assassin's Creed. Black Flag is a pretty good continuation of the story from 3, which I had ended on, and it was ambiguous for me because I stopped playing when Desmond grabbed the orb and just straight up looked like he died. Well, in this, it's confirmed that Desmond is dead. And while that's a bummer, because I did actually like Desmond Miles as a character, the story that they have going on here is pretty intriguing with this corporate espionage thing going on. Not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of the Abstergo stuff, but I actually enjoyed it in this one. But this kind of also stands as a monument to both Ubisoft's success and failures from after. Because I don't know how you come up and evolve the series up to this and then devolve literally everything going forward. The dialogue in this game is like dialogue that you would swear to God is not a Ubisoft game. It's too thoughtful, it is too introspective, and it is too human almost. The characters in this game really feel like genuine people, and you really want to get to know them, and you do, and you actually spend time with them, which is really different compared to what we are kind of used to getting from Ubisoft now. Because in my opinion, their writing has just gotten kind of stale.
A man's a prick. I know you're come to call me home, Kenway. And your faith in me is kind. But with Nassau done in, I feel I'm finished.
I'm not of the same mind, mate. But I won't begrudge you the state of yours.
And even their design philosophy, because they wanted to bloat everything so large that small nuances got lost in translation. For instance, like climbing mechanics in Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. You have this like almost superhero like hop above, like going up buildings, like your Black Panther almost. Whereas in the old Assassin's Creed games and like this one, especially Unity, I don't know what it is about Unity, but that parkour looking fine all the time. But Black Flag has this going on too. It has this great parkour system. It has all of these crazy little activities that would almost seem out of place in any newer Ubisoft game, apart from maybe Far Cry, because that's zany enough to have crazy things. But in Black Flag, you'll be whaling, you'll be hunting for sharks, you'll be diving with the diving bell, swimming for buried treasure. This is a pirate game. Like, I had several thoughts of, hey, this is kind of like Sea of Thieves. I can just run around and just be a pirate and do my thing. And that's awesome. And it's also kind of weird, because that's not originally what I came to Assassin's Creed for, but it really worked for me. And I think that's with how the story was written. You just start with Edward as a pirate and just being a victim of circumstance, and then seeing the man he wanted to be and being attacked by him. And after coming victorious, he takes on that man's mantle and takes on his persona as an assassin. At first, it's totally selfish in reasoning, but over the course of the game, he does find a sense of righteousness inside of himself that he didn't have before, and a new sense of purpose, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, some people can hate on Edward and say, yeah, he's still not an assassin, but that is wholeheartedly beside the point. This is one of those redemption stories where this man kind of lost everything multiple times and they kept moving forward. And Edward isn't the only like intriguing character in this. You have Blackbeard, you know, and Blackbeard's character in this is fantastic, which his name in this is Thatch. He was Edward's mentor, and man, his character in this and his character arc went hard. And it dealt with some pretty serious themes, including the syphilis that he had that had really helped in bringing him to the edge of madness. And you kind of get to see some of that. And while not quite enough, in my opinion, I would have liked to spend more time with him. What time I did spend with him and how his whole arc ended, including with his death later in the game, I was super satisfied with that character arc, as well as a number of others around Edward. James Kidd, and then you have Roberts. Roberts, oh boy. Roberts might be one of the most important characters in Assassin's Creed lore because of what he represents. Oh man, I am kind of sad that I skipped out on this one because I kind of figured I was burnt out at the time, which, you know, I probably was, and maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed this as much. Maybe I enjoyed it way more because I waited. But from what I heard from other people, it still felt like a breath of fresh air for Assassin's Creed, even back then. No doubt aided by the fact that the last Assassin's Creed was helmed by Connor, who had the charisma of Wednesday Addams, and now we have Edward, who has the charisma of Jack Sparrow. What a change. And that was mostly for its benefit, because it was just a jolly pirating time, you know?
Got him, Captain! He's off! The beast is dead!
He's a monster!
Now, on the other side of the coin from the story and the characters and the interesting activities, the rest of the game is what you expect from a Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game. You have upgrade weapons the same way, upgrade ships the same way, your money and stuff flows in the same way on the ships. So it is all very familiar and easy to pick up, which is both a good and bad thing, because it does give you some of that, oh, I've been here and done this before feeling. That's not to say there aren't little flares here and there in the gameplay and little nuances, but overall, this experience you're coming to for some of the interesting activities here and there on the side and this story and characters, because it is honestly peak. And that's going to be a controversial opinion, but like, I don't even mean like peak Ubisoft. Like, it's peak period. Like, this game actually has a full character arc and story. They didn't leave nothing in the air for Edward's character. They just made a well-written and rounded character and game and just ran with it. And I can respect it, because in a world now where nothing ends and everything has just kind of half-assed writing and more about the mind of how much engagement can we get, especially in Ubisoft single-player games where things got so bloated, I kind of appreciate the focus and that this isn't crazy huge. You know, there's a lot of islands to explore. There's a lot of things to do, but I don't feel like it's so daunting that I don't even want to try. You know, like Odyssey, like you take one look at Odyssey's map and you're like, holy shit, I ain't ready for this. And then Valhalla gets bigger, and then they're saying Shadows should be pretty dang big too, but I will not be getting that when it comes out. I'm going to sit on the sidelines and see how that lands, to be quite honest, because nothing I've seen is anywhere near on a level of Black Flag, which is insane because of the time gap of which these two games are going to be releasing. Black Flag came out in October of 2013. That's crazy. Now, 12 years later, and we're getting an Assassin's Creed that seems to have regressed in a lot of areas that most players care about. But I digress on the state of Shadows and Ubisoft. I just needed to gush on how good Black Flag was, because boy do I regret waiting so long to play this. This felt really nice to play a, Xbox 360, PS3 era game among everything right now. So if you haven't played this, go out and play it. If you enjoyed this, subscribe and like. If you would like to hear me rant on about some other games that I have been visiting and that I have some opinions on, because I missed out on a lot of things over the years, as people do. So if you would like to keep up with me in the future, I hope you'll subscribe and like this video so you'll have a chance of being notified and coming to visit when that drops. Until then, I'll leave you guys with a favorite quote of mine from the game. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Kenway! Here! In a world without gold, we might have been heroes!